let's go ahead and jump in here. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I know that people have been doing assumptions for a minute now, and I wasn't gonna do it, but I read, or whose did I watch? I watched one recently that was just so funny, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. The idea of one day not being financially stable still scares you because of your past? Abso-positively, my friends. For sure. Because I've gone from nothing to what I have now, this feels almost like a fake life. Like it's not really mine. And so that's why I'm doing everything I can to, one, obviously get out of debt, which I did a video about, and two, save as much as humanly possible. I don't live lavishly. I don't buy designer things. I don't do anything very fancy. I keep it pretty basic with the occasional splurges at like Target and Sephora, but I don't splurge at like Chanel and Gucci or at, you know, a car store or something. Like I can afford to do that. However, it is so against who I am, and I don't think I could ever even bring myself to do it. The only time I've ever bought anything designer was a gift for someone else. And that was wonderful. That felt so good. But actually bringing that gift home and keeping it for myself would have been very out of my character. So for sure, I'm just trying to set myself up as best as I can, just because you never know what life's gonna throw at you. You're not as strict on your kids in real life as in your videos. I am significantly more strict. There is a lot more disciplining beyond the video than what you actually see. I am not gonna show you me disciplining my kids. I am not an easygoing, like easy breezy kind of parent. I want them to have fun. But if you ask anyone, I have very respectful, very kind children, and that did not just happen. That was beat into. I'm just kidding. I don't really beat the kids, like, but definitely they do get disciplined on the reg. You touch Luigi's arm every time he walks past you. I touch his butt every time he walks past me, and sometimes I go out of my way to get there. Or I should say I try to touch his butt every time he walks past. He's got good defenses. You're a really caring person and you really appreciate everything you have. For sure. I mean, I think one of the most important things that I have that I've been able to obtain is actually freedom. Financial freedom, freedom in my mind. Like there are different forms of freedom that I've been able to obtain in adulthood, and they are priceless, and they are things that I know some people are never gonna get to achieve. So of course I'm gonna appreciate them. Again, like I said, as long as I have them, because so many things in life are fleeting. I very much live in the moment. I live in the now. I live in today. I don't necessarily live for the next day, like, because you don't know what's gonna happen and you don't know how long you're even gonna be around. So I 100% do my best. I'm not perfect. I do my best to appreciate everything that I have when I have it. I assume you were a thought in high school. I was like the anti-thought. Like maybe in my brain I wanted to be a thought. I wrote some raunchy like Harry Potter fanfics and stuff. Don't judge me. Thank you very much. They're still on the internet. I will never tell you my author name though. But I was real liked, okay? Always been in relationships. I did go from relationship to relationship. I think the first one was like 3 years, it ended, and then within a few months, I was in another one, and then that one ended at the same time that I was beginning another one. Well, like right before I was beginning the next one. And then when that one ended, which is the one that I had with the father of my kids, I pretty much stayed single officially for like 3 years or so. I dated one guy somewhat, but until then, basically until I got with my current boyfriend. So I was in relationships when I was younger, but then when I started kind of focusing on myself, my career, my kids, my job, in college, I mean, I was single. I didn't need all that like complication. I assume that you're a really secure influencer, not always needing audience validation. Yes, but I wasn't always like this. Now I'm at a point where I'm secure in my thoughts and my feelings, and if I feel like they are going to create an uproar, which, like I've mentioned before, is a great way to get interaction. It's a great way to get some steam, to cause people to almost argue with you and within themselves. It's not something I choose to do. So I don't need the validation of other people, especially people that don't know me in any way. And that has definitely come through finding my faith changing and realizing that none of this really matters ultimately in my life. So that has been a thing that I have definitely built up in the last 7 years or so. But yeah, I would actually say that that is quite true. However, I do enjoy positive reactions from things that I post. But I wouldn't call it validation necessarily. I assume you want to stop doing YouTube. Yeah, eventually. But it's not like something that I have like a date on or anything, but I think eventually I will move away from doing YouTube. However, I don't necessarily think I would completely move away from this space or move away from influencing. I just think it would become something else. I think, you know, I would maybe move to doing it for companies in like a consulting sort of way where it's not so much of me personally, but it's more of like the business. Or I would move into writing. Like, I've always talked about writing, and I've always wanted to be a writer, and that was my ultimate goal in life forever and ever and ever. And I do have things that I'm writing currently. However, I can't give it my full attention, and I am petrified of feeling like a failure as a writer to myself. I could toss out a book right now, and it wouldn't be anything that I'm proud of though. So it would make money, it would probably sell somewhat, I don't know how well, but it's not something I would be proud of. So eventually I will, like I said, I'll move into a different form of influencing, I think, but not YouTubing. I assume that you're part of the LDS, the Church of Latter-day Saints. I am not. I'm a Christian for sure, and I do watch a lot of Sister Wives though. I do find it fascinating the way some people decide to live their lives, and I love to be aware of other people's religions and kind of things that go into them, and you know, their ideals and stuff. Like, I find it fascinating. However, no, I am definitely not a part of the LDS Church. I assume that you come across as stuck up. No hate, love you so much. The only people that have ever called me stuck up ever are people on the internet. In my real life, I don't think anyone has, I mean, unless they're just saying it behind my back, but I really don't keep a very large circle. And I don't think I necessarily give off that vibe because I don't truly feel it in my heart that I'm better than any other person. So if people feel that way, I can't necessarily stop that, but I don't think that that's like the general sort of idea about me. I got a few of these. I assume that you've never dated a white guy. I have. So that person that I talked about dating in between my kid's dad, that breakup, and my current boyfriend, he was a white guy. He was a much older white man. It's just not for me. Well, he was not for me for sure, but I've never been like super duper attracted to white guys. However, Tom Hardy is fine, okay? And I used to be in love with Russell Crowe. I loved him so much. I loved it so much. So I'm attracted to white guys, like in a, you know, in a purely sort of superficial way. But yeah, I didn't really date white guys, but I didn't really grow up around white guys. I grew up around Hispanics and blacks. So I think it's just kind of, I'm a product of my environment. I assume that you live your best life and never have to discipline your kids or have a mom breakdown, LOL. You must not follow the vlog channel. Absolutely not. I've had videos probably titled Breaking Down Mom, Being a Mom is So Hard, Cry, 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 Cry Again. I don't know what I'd name them. I assume you worked hard for everything you have and don't accept no handouts. I would say that when I was struggling, the handout, which I struggle to call it that because I don't want to offend anyone, but it hurt my pride so much to get a link card, which is like financial assistance to buy food. So getting that when we were really struggling, when we had the kids, like when they were still babies, that hurt me so much because I do not like the feeling of taking anything from anyone and feeling like I need a hand, basically, and that has stuck with me. I don't like I don't make myself feel bad about it, and I understand why people need it, and I know why we needed it, and I would say that definitely I don't want anything that's not mine. If someone sends me an invoice and let's say they told me I needed to pay them $600, but they send me an invoice for $500, I'm gonna respond to them and tell them, hey, we agreed on $600. even if that's gonna make a struggle for me, I don't ever want anybody in this world to be able to say that they gave me anything as a handout. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional. Like, there's something so deep-rooted in me about earning what I have and being able to say that the things that I have are mine, which doesn't mean that no one was there to help me along the way. Like, yeah, I got my degree, which was important to me, and that would have been really difficult or impossible almost to get had I not had the help of like my parents or the kid's dad to watch them on the nights that I needed to go to school. But the degree is mine, you know what I mean? But yeah, I needed help along the way, but I didn't need a handout. And the same just goes for everything in my job. I really struggle when people say that I wouldn't have what I have if it wasn't for them, because I live my life so that no one in this world can tell me that, except God. He can like be like, girl, pfft. I'm sure some of you can relate, especially women. I'm sure some of you can really relate to needing to know that what you have is yours because of you. It's a character trait that I have, and it's not something that I can just shake off. And that's a double-edged sword, because it's very hard for me to ask for help from anyone. It's hard for me to even hire help. I just feel like even when I'm paying someone, I feel like I'm asking too much of them to do the simplest thing. It's I don't know. I need help. I assume you put everyone's needs before your own. Absolutely not. I would say I do not do that. I put my children's, now I wouldn't say I put them before my own, but I make sure that my kids are good before I make sure that I'm good. However, if I'm not good, they cannot be good. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like the chicken and the egg. Like, what comes first? They're all together simultaneously. However, I do not put other people's needs ahead of mine. I do not allow other people's pressure to push me into doing things anymore. This is something that is, something I've become better at as I've gotten older and just kind of gone through more parts of life, I guess. I don't let other people's pressures affect me, and I do what I can to help. However, I'm gonna come before anyone else. I mean, any other human being that's on earth, basically. I assume that you want to get married really badly. There's a lot in here about marriage. I'll say the other ones are like, I assume you're already married. I assume you're engaged. I assume you never want to get married. There are a lot about marriage just in the little quadrant I'm looking at here. But what was yours? You assume that I want to get married really badly. I think I would be super stressed out planning a wedding. So I know it's like eustress, right? It's like good, positive stress. However, stress is stress, and I'm affected by it. So while I would welcome a marriage when the time is right for me, especially with the person that I'm with now, I mean, I'm fully, deeply committed and in love with the man that I'm with now, and my life has changed so much for the better since meeting him, and then since we've developed our relationship over time. And I could have never asked for anyone that was better for me, better suited for me, a better partner for me, a better influence on my children, and an influence on my life. Like, I am so fully, deeply in love, and I am not waiting on anything. My relationship is so fulfilling as it is, and I will welcome marriage when it's the right time, and I think that's when it's going to happen, is when it feels like it's the right time. However, I'm not like dreading it or counting it down or anything. I just think that that'll be another part of life, because in my mind it's like, okay, so now you're married, right? Because people pressure me all the time to get married. People are constantly pressuring, when are you gonna get married, when are you gonna get married, when are you gonna get married? Okay, I don't know. But then it's like, okay, so now you're married. Okay, now what? Okay, now when are you gonna have a kid? When are you gonna have a kid? When are you gonna have a kid? Okay, so now I had a kid, now what? It's like, okay, so now what? When you gonna buy a house? When you gonna buy a house? When you gonna buy a house? Okay, so I bought a house, now what? Like, people are constantly living to like get to that next thing, and for me it's like, just be in the moment, be in today, be in today's moment, this minute, be in this second, and enjoy every bit of it that you can. Like I said, fully committed, fully in love. Like, I'm so full, like so fulfilled that I can't want for anything at this point in my life. But I will welcome changes as they happen. But a lot of you guys also mentioned babies. You either want them, you don't want them. I would definitely welcome a child into this world if that's what is meant for me. I would be more than happy to have a child with presumably the man that would be my husband here, you know what I mean? Like with Lewis. I would definitely welcome a child if that's what's meant for us. Whether it be naturally, like, you know, born of our genetics, or whether it be an adoption or whatever it is, I would welcome another child into my life. I would welcome multiple children into my life. And I would also, I think, just be content with the children that I have. I love my kids. I love the phase of life that they're in. I love that I don't have to wake up and change a baby's diaper, but I also love to wake up and change a baby's diaper. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good with anything that life throws at me. I don't have super hard ideas on these topics. You don't want your kids' self-esteem to be hurt by the effed up comments people make. So you guys know I will bite back when people are saying terrible things about my kids. It's not that I don't want their feelings to be hurt, because comments can still be hurtful for me. You know what I mean? But I don't want their opinion of themselves to ever be based on the opinions that other people have of them. So that's what I try to instill in my kids. I try to just instill a positive self-image, and I want them to have strong morals and a strong just sense of self overall. What people say is still probably gonna hurt them, you know what I mean? Because people intend to be cruel, and sometimes that lands. And like I said, that happens with me still. So for me to expect for my kids to never be hurt by something is, I think, crazy. But for sure, I just want to instill that sense of, that really strong, positive sense of self. I assume you worry about the influence your children's father will have on their lives once they get older. Yeah. I think I do. I worry about the influence that most people will have on their lives. Well, I don't worry about it, but I'm aware that these different people, these different situations, these things are going to influence my kids. And so if there's something that I know is happening or I'm aware of, I will just let my kids know my opinion on it. But I don't necessarily ever peg their dad as like a negative influence. Like, I don't say things like that to them. It'll just kind of be like, well, you know, if they have a question, it'll be like, oh, well, daddy does this, or he said this, or da-da-da. And I'll be like, oh, well, this is what I would do, or how do you feel about that? What are you thinking? And then I'll kind of just talk them through it. But like I said, I don't want to peg their dad as a negative guy. He's not, and he's doing what he can for his kids in his way. And it's taken me a long time to figure out simply that he is one type of parent and I am one type of parent, and it just so happens that we're parenting the same kids. There were quite a few assumptions in here as well about I can't stand him, or we don't get along, or I hate my baby daddy, whatever that may be. Absolutely not. We probably have the best relationship now that we've ever had, I think, ever, probably. I mean, we're good. We can be cordial, we talk, we're not overly friendly or anything like that. I have a high level of respect for the relationship that I'm in. My partner and the kid's dad are respectful of each other. He was at the prom that we threw. Like, everybody was there. Everybody can get together, everybody can have a good time. Like, there's no bad blood, I don't think, not on my end at least. It's been too long. We have a lifetime of raising these kids together, you know what I mean? So there's no sense in it. So, and for sure, I just want my kids to know that it's okay to talk to me about your dad. It's okay to bring up your dad. It's okay to say you want to see your dad or you want to call your dad. You know, I don't want them to ever be afraid of damaging a relationship between he and I. I assume you appreciate your success and are willing to help others succeed. Absolutely! I think people are afraid to ask me, like people in my real life. I do not share a bunch of information with people online, and I do not help people one-on-one online because it turns around and it just comes back to bite me in the ass. It has. And so I won't do it because there's no sense in putting myself through that. And there are so many resources online that people can get a lot of information, you know what I mean? But like on one-on-one, like when anyone in my life needs help or wants any kind of guidance or has any kind of questions or anything when it comes to anything that I'm involved in, any kind of influencing, YouTubing, Instagramming, photos, blogs, whatever, like I am more than happy to help. And I think some people are just kind of afraid to ask just because they think like, oh, she's so busy. But like I love love, you guys, I love sharing the knowledge that I have found out, because if I can make things easier for you so that you can be successful, like, great. I would love if more people in my life kind of did what I did, so I would have more people to, you know, share commonalities with. Like, I would love that. I don't know why, like, so many of you guys said, I assume you're a freak in the sheets, and like you phrased it exactly like that. So I don't know if you did it from like all your 19 different accounts. Not necessarily that she has different accounts, the one I'm showing, but there were so many that said this that I was like, what? Why is everyone calling it freak in the sheets? Right now I'm asleep in the sheets, okay? So let's leave it at that. You're gonna save your money and buy a house when you can pay cash, no mortgage. I've said this already, and it really does cause quite a bit of debate, which I would just like to point out. I have never said that anyone getting a mortgage is a bad idea. And I understand that people have really strong ideas about it, and that's totally fine. People in my real life have very strong ideas about it, and it's just not something that's up for debate for me. I'm doing what I want to do, and there are so many reasons behind it. But yeah, I would ideally like to not get a mortgage. If that doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. But I mean, I look at the Realtor app every single day, okay? Every single day I look at it because I love it. I'm so interested in homes. I've considered many times getting real estate license and just having it, doing it for funsies and buying cheap houses and redoing them and selling them or renting. Like, realty is very interesting to me. I assume you're coming out with your own clothing line. A lot of people also thought that me and Louis were already secretly married, so I assume you and Luigi are already secretly married. I had a lot that said that. I would not do that. While I don't know that I would actually share the ins and outs of everything from, you know, engagements to planning and everything, I don't know that I would share all that. Just because I don't necessarily need it to be open to criticism. But I do love everybody's positivity and support and stuff as well. So it's, again, it's like a little double-edged sword. Everything is on the internet. However, I think it would be a disservice to my relationship if I were to get married and not say it. I would change my name. I would have a ring as a symbol of the marriage. Like, I don't think it's something that I would hide, because I feel, again, that that would be, it would be disrespectful to the relationship and, in my opinion. So that's not something that I would do. I don't anticipate hiding that when it happens. I mean, but would I like secretly go off and get married and then come and tell you guys that I'm married? Probably. I assume you don't budget and pull an Ariana. I see it, I want it, I buy it. Yeah, I don't budget, but I have all of my, basically the first of the month, I drain a crap load of money out of my accounts, and I put them in savings accounts, and I pay all my bills, and then what's left is what's left. I get to play around if I want. I know what numbers I'm kind of comfortable with, and yeah, but I don't budget per se. I assume you're losing weight. Currently, I'm gaining weight, but as of next week, you never know. I go back and forth with my eating habits and going to the gym and stuff like that. I'm always here and there. I mean, it is what it is. This is just my life. I go up and down constantly. I assume you've dated a lot of men. I have dated, even if we went on one date, okay, I can tell you, I have dated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. One date even. And of these 6 people, 5 of them were my boyfriends for at least a year. This one we dated for like a year, but I would never have called him my boyfriend. Yes, except for the first one. We dated for like a week and a half in like sophomore year, junior year or something. It was weird, it was terrible. It wasn't a relationship. It was like, do you want to go to the movies at the same time and then turn sideways and kiss weird? Okay. I assume that you've been through a lot when it comes to men. I've been through some things that I never talked about. Some things that unfortunately a lot of us have been through, but there have been different instances of just varying degrees of like assault. And it's not something I talk about. In fact, this is probably the first time I've ever even mentioned it at all, when I was a child and as an adult. And, you know, and then on an emotional level, I went through a lot with the father of my kids. Just the breaking up of the family was a lot of turmoil because we were a family. And the fact that it was like so heavily cheating and lying and deceit, like there was so much negativity. But yeah, I've been through some things. but plenty of people have been through worse and made it out the other side, and it's not something that I'd like define my life by. So I think I would say I would agree. I've been through some things, but I struggle to say I've been through a lot because I know people that are close to me that have been through so much more. And so like it almost feels disrespectful to be like, yeah, I've been through a lot, and then look at them and they've really been through a lot. But at the same time, it's all relative, you know? So yeah. Oh, surprised I even said that. I assume that you take longer to edit your vlogs because you crack yourself up watching them. I don't know why I can't click on this one. It's right here. So I'm just gonna screenshot the whole thing. Yes, I crack myself up all the time when I'm editing my vlogs. Like that sugar and crack comment in the Dunkin' Donuts vlog had me in tears. Like that video was on this channel. I don't know why I thought it was so funny when I was editing, but you guys, like I was in full on tears, like crying about that line. But yeah, I crack myself up all the time. like crack myself up, okay? I assume you are a jealous person. Why won't it let me pick on this? It won't let me like select these questions. This is so annoying, you guys. I want to insert the clip, but it's not letting me like select it. You know what I mean? Okay, well, it's right here. It's by Serrano_89. She said, I assume you're a jealous person. I am not a jealous person. Generally, for people's success, I wish them the best. I wish everybody the best. I mean, I want people to just do as well as they can because frankly, it's not gonna hurt me and it's only gonna make them feel better. And when people feel good about themselves, they do good things. They do good things for other people. They do good things for themselves. They do good things for their children. They do good things for their parents. And the more positivity and good stuff we put out into the world, the more it's gonna come back. So I don't want people walking around being sad and being mad and being hateful or spiteful or jealous or anything like that. So for sure, I would not consider myself a jealous person. And in my relationship, I think you have to work hard to make sure that you do not allow the other person basically to get to a point of feeling jealous. Like there are many things that I put into place that I think are good to avoid my boyfriend getting jealous. He doesn't get jealous anyway. But in fact, I've never seen him get jealous anyway. but there are lots of things that you could put in place in your romantic relationship to make sure that jealousy is frankly not even an option. Like I don't make it an option at all. There's nothing to be jealous about. There's nothing to be hidden. Like full disclosure, full honesty, full everything, and you're gonna have a good old time, baby. I had a bunch that said like, I assume that Josh is your favorite brother. I assume you prefer Josh and Jason over Juan. I assume you don't like your sister. Oh, here's one. I assume, damn it, it's like for some reason they're mixing up. I assume you and your brothers don't have a good relationship with your sister. I love my sister. I love my brothers. I love my siblings. They're great. Me and my sister are not the same. I have a lot of respect for my sister, and I am, like I said, tolerance. You have to be tolerant of other people and how they feel and what they think and how they choose to not only live their and how they choose to live their lives. So my sister has chosen a path that is different from what I have chosen. We're both influencers, which I actually think is so cool that like I share that in common with her. And when we see each other, we have so much to talk about and it's great, but we are not a super, super tight knit, like sister to sister relationship. However, there is not a single ounce of bad blood between us. And I would say I'm close to my brothers as well. There's one that I'm not quite as close to. We tend to butt heads a little bit more, frankly. And I would say I'm not super close to him, but I love all of my siblings. And having a bunch of brothers and sisters is hella cool. I mean, how many siblings do you have? Do you get along with all of them the same? Probably not. I assume that you feed your kids unhealthy because you want them to look like you and have the same problems. One, I don't think that I look bad, you know what I mean? So like every now and again people try to hurt me by saying that my kids act like me or are like me, and like how that's not an insult to me because I don't feel bad about myself to begin with. Two, I mean my kids are who they are. I don't have petite children. You guys have never really seen them obviously like in person. My kids are massive human beings. Like they are super tall. They are significantly bigger as just their presence, okay, is so much bigger than like other kids in their classes. Jaden has been the tallest kid in his class, the biggest kid in his class every single year that he's been in school, and he is hands down the youngest kid in his class every single year. My kids are big. They're hella tall. They go through times when they don't want to eat anything. I remember that I had tickets to Disney on Ice, and my kids refused to eat to the point where they would not take a bite of cheese. And I was like, if you don't bite this damn piece of cheese and eat something today, okay, this was obviously the culmination of weeks and weeks or months, okay, of them struggling with wanting to eat anything. Like, if you don't eat this damn piece of cheese, you are not going to Disney on Ice. There's fury in my house sometimes, okay? Nala would not eat that damn piece of cheese, you guys. And she was in the Girl Scouts, and that trip was for the Girl Scouts. And guess who didn't get to go that day? Nala Rae McKay, okay? I took Jaden, he took one bite of cheese, he ate it, he cried, he got in the car, we drove to Chicago, I took him to go see it. Everybody's like, oh, where's Nala? It's Girl Scout meeting, and I'm like, she wouldn't eat the cheese, y'all. Let me tell you what happened. No, I didn't like bust her out crazy, but I was like, she was just in a position where she was not able to come. You guys, ebbs and flows, okay? Just like me though, like my weight fluctuates like crazy. I'm hyper aware of what my kids eat though. There is not a single piece of food that goes into my kids' mouths without me approving it first. It's not something I have to tell them. It's not something that they sneakily do. They say, Mommy, I'm hungry. I say, okay, have an apple. Okay, have some carrots, have some cucumbers, have some of this, have a real meal, have something warm, have something like substantial, you know, reheat that thing, make that thing that I, you know, reheat the thing that I made and it's in the freezer or whatever. Or I'll tell them, yeah, go ahead, have that bowl of cereal, have a waffle, have whatever. Go ahead and make yourself a big old smoothie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm super aware of what they're eating because like I said, there's not a single thing that goes into their mouths when they're with me that I don't know about. I pack every single bit of their food. I am not gonna shame my kids for being bigger. Genetically, my kids are big, okay? They're gonna be big. They're tall as hell. They're the biggest kids in their class, and it's been like that since pre-K. They've been little giants in their classes, and none of their doctors have ever been even remotely concerned with their size. So while I understand that the internet wants to criticize everyone's height and weight and body and everything, and their parenting, like, just trust me, it is not needed. I work my entire life so that my children don't have to go through the problems that I went through, okay? I took it and I did it and I fixed it and I flipped it and I made something of everything that I went through, but I'm never going to purposefully put my children through the same things that I went through. So it bothers me when people say dumbass stuff like that because you have no idea. You have no idea how much I care about being a mom. I love my kids more than I love anything in this world. Like, I exist because of them. I strive because of them. I made it through everything that I needed to make it through. You guys didn't know me before I had kids. I was a wreck. I was a mess. I made the stupidest decisions, you guys, and being a mother has changed me so much, and being a single mother has changed me so much. I love it so much, you guys, and that's why I'm so passionate about my family. I'm so passionate about my blessings because it's amazing, and it's something that I want so badly to share with my children, to share with the people that I love, to share with my family, to share with my partner, like to share with you guys. I want to be able to give you as much as I can. And I give people as much as I can. Some things you should do in private, you know what I mean? Some things only me and God need to know about. And I want to do as best as I can so that I can share it with as many people as possible. So I think I'll end it here. I'm sure this video was super long, and look at me, I'm getting all worked up. I'm gonna film something after this, I think a little more low-key. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really do. It's actually fun to talk about things that are important to me, and most of what we talked about is pretty important to me. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I got this top from Rue 21. It's so cute. It was like 10 bucks and it's like so comfortable. But yeah, I think that's all I have. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you have not. Give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy this and you want to see a little bit more on these sitting down, heartfelt kind of topics, because I missed it. I missed talking to you guys. And that's all I got. See you guys later. Ooh, that was rough.